day, and our WhatsApp line is still active, 020-206666. 33. That's our WhatsApp line. I've been joined this morning by Dr. Angela Barnes. She's a physician specialist, head of stroke team, La General Hospital. Also, Mavis Ajiti Ago is a principal physiotherapist, La General Hospital. And Emanuela Anum Nyanyofio is a nursing officer, stroke nurse at La General Hospital. Ladies, welcome. Good morning. And can I say happy stroke day? Or well, happy World Stroke Day. I don't think I want to say that. Stroke is such not a good thing. But that's what we're celebrating today. I'll start with you, Doc. What is the state of this whole stroke thing in Ghana as we speak now? Do we know? The figures, are they shocking enough?
We don't have specific figures, but I think a lot of research is going on now in various hospitals.
Right.
And worldwide, about 15 million people suffer a stroke.
Okay.
And out of those 15 million people, a third of them would recover.
Okay.
Another third will recover but will have disabilities.
Okay.
And then the last third will unfortunately die. And this is the pattern that we are seeing in our hospitals. We are seeing about 30 to 40% of our patients, inpatients, having strokes. And so that is how high stroke incidence is in the country.
Manuela, you are a stroke nurse. What are the major causes? What do we know to be the proponents of this?
One of the major causes of stroke is hypertension.
Okay.
Okay, and then because most people have hypertension and then they are not adhering to their drugs, they are not coming up for follow-up visits, and they are not going according to their dietary regimen. Okay, we are recording a lot of stroke cases in the country. And you know that for, stroke is caused by both modifiable and non-modifiable causes.
Okay.
For the modifiable causes, you can do something about it,
Okay.
like your lifestyle, your diet, exercising. But for the non-modifiable, it's hereditary, age, and all that.
Okay.
But now we are having a double burden because of our lifestyle,
Okay.
what we eat, the processed foods, shifting away from our natural food to everything junk.
Okay.
And this is increasing the prevalence of hypertension, which is leading to a lot of strokes in our hospitals.
Mavis, is it a difficult thing to have stroke? Is it?
Yes.
How difficult is it?
Stroke, like Dr. Barnes said, a third out of 15 million people would have permanent disabilities.
Right.
We are talking about not being able to carry out your normal activities of daily living. We are talking about not being able to get out of bed, to go into bed, to brush your hair, to wash your face. The activities we call normal activities of daily living become difficult for stroke patients. Yes. So walking around and then one day having to just not be able to walk again is quite a burden. It's a burden on our families, it's a social burden, it's a financial burden. You have the whole society burdened because of the disability that these people end up with.
You're a physiotherapist. When you see people with stroke come to you, people who were once active and all of that, what is the mood and sense you get from them? Shock, disappointment, resentment? What is it? What do you get from them?
Yes, it's a mixture of all those emotions you are mentioning. There are some that are very enthusiastic, ready to work, to get up again and move on. There are others that are so emotionally disturbed that you can do very little to help them.
Okay.
The zeal to be up and doing again is lost totally. That is where functional independence come in. The aim of the physiotherapist is to help the stroke patients become functionally independent again.
Okay.
So we have what we call neuroplasticity.
Right.
After the injury in the brain has the ability to reorganize and rewire itself.
Okay.
So the physiotherapist comes in with specific tailored activities for the individual to recover those functional things, to recover those movements all over again. So it's a lot of emotions there and a lot of work.
Do they cry?
A lot.
Wow.
A lot. They cry. there's this inability to speak, slurred speech, which is one of the complications of stroke. If you once could speak and then all of a sudden you've lost your ability to speak, you ask them anything and they end up crying.
Doc, let me come to you. Thank you very much, Mavis. Doc, so symptoms. Let's talk about it. Somebody's alive and well, active, going about. Then all you hear is, oh, he just had stroke. One side of his body is numb, is dead. How do we identify the symptoms?
Thank you very much. I think commonly what everybody knows is the fact that one side of your body is dead.
Right.
That's the commonest. But there's a variety of symptoms that stroke presents with.
Okay.
It could just be that the patient may just be suddenly blind.
Okay.
It could be that the patient suddenly loses balance, feels dizzy and loses balance. Or it could be that he just has a twist in the face or a drooping of the face,
Okay.
such that he notices that he's actually drooling saliva or drooling food,
Okay.
because the patient isn't able to suddenly swallow.
Okay.
And there's something we always say, act quickly. We say you need to act fast.
Okay.
So we say FAST, act fast.
Okay.
F meaning, do you notice suddenly that you have a drooping face?
Okay.
Or suddenly, are you able not to smile?
Okay.
That's F, that's for the face.
Okay.
And then A, have you noticed sudden weakness in your arm? Are you able to
Okay.
lift your arm? If
Okay.
if you're not able to, then possibly that may be a stroke.
Okay.
Then S for your speech. Is your speech suddenly slurred?
Ah.
Or is your speech suddenly absent? For
Okay.
some people, there's no speech at all. And if you notice any of these fast rules, FAST for time, you need to act
Okay.
fast. You need to
Okay.
report to a nearest facility as soon as
So
possible.
these are the symptoms you need
These
to
are
look
the
out
symptoms
for.
of
Does what we eat have any repercussions on, or if you like, make us susceptible to getting stroke?
Definitely. Because of modernization,
Okay.
there's a lot of junk food. And one cause of stroke, or shall I say the most important cause of stroke, is hypertension.
Okay.
And hypertension has to do a lot with our diet. High cholesterol diet, high fat diet, high sodium, that's a salt.
So Friday night,
Yes.
chilling with the boys, I grab a cold bottle of beer. I get pork, sizzling, flame grilled pork. I munch it down. I get pizza. I top it up. I get banku with tilapia. It's dripping with oil. I top it down. I'm living a good life. What's your concern? What's your concern?
That's a very good recipe for stroke. I mean,
Okay.
you know, we always thought stroke was a disease of the elderly.
Right.
We're actually seeing strokes in people as young as 30, 20 years.
Really?
Interestingly. And it's so sad. We actually have a case we managed with 30 years. And I know several hospitals are also reporting people in their 20s having stroke. And it's all because of the lifestyle.
Has shisha anything to do with stroke? Shisha, you know shisha.
The pipe.
Yes.
Smoking is a
alive.
big risk factor.
It is.
Yes, because smoking causes plaques. Plaques are sometimes like particles that could block your blood vessels within the brain.
Okay.
Because basically what a stroke is that blood circulation is cut off in your brain. So anything that cuts off the circulation in your brain, fat particles, blood clots, suddenly your blood vessels burst,
Okay.
then you have bleeding in the brain.
Emanuela, you are the stroke nurse. How do we prevent this?
Prevention of stroke has to do with working on the modifiable factors. Doc has already spoken about diet.
All right.
We also want to look at exercise, and stress. Most of the times, Ghana has become so difficult that everybody's stressed here and there.
Okay.
When people are stressed with school fees, people are stressed with rent, the economy and all that, there's a burden. It sets them thinking and brings their blood pressures high.
Right.
Okay, plus the other factors, people can, so by being able to manage your stress well through family support, for instance, in marriage, instead of putting all the burden on the men to provide, women can also help their husbands, because statistics show that stroke is more prevalent in men than women.
Okay.
And it's because they are carrying a lot of burden of providing school fees and all that. So by working on our stresses, by working on our diet, by exercising once a while, not exercising to come back to eat junk food going for jogging to come back to drink beer and eat pork at the end of the jogging. And then when we eat all these junk foods, exercise burns out the fat.
Okay.
And when fat collects into the bloodstream, it forms what we call the atherosclerosis.
Okay.
Atherosclerosis disposes or dislodges a clot, which can block the blood vessel to give us another type of stroke.
So there's somebody who eats all these things, and the argument is that, well, we are eating what we can get. So they're getting fried yam with pork 9 p.m., quaffing beer and everything else. Then he says the next morning, I'll drink slim tea, or the tea that will make me slim and expel the fat. Is that person at risk too?
Yes, because all these products on the market are not 100% safe. You know, it's better to go organic.
Okay.
If they say they are eating what they can get, what are we getting? There is plantain and kontomire.
That looks like a poor man's food, doesn't it? It looks like a poor man's food. That's what they'll tell you. Kofi Brookman is for poor people.
And it's because we are copying wrongly that we now have a double burden of disease. Formerly, we were suffering from sanitation issues, but now we have taken up the white disease, which are the cardiovascular diseases, due to their lifestyle. And we've added it to our sanitation diseases like cholera, typhoid, and the rest. So it's better to eat the Brookman.
We are killing ourselves. Vegas, I want to ask a critical question. You're the physiotherapist. You deal with a lot of these cases. Does too much sex cause stroke?
No.
No.
There's no evidence.
There's no evidence.
There's no scientific evidence
if you have
or
multiple
research.
sexual partners.
There's no scientific research to back that fact. And yes, it is something that is being speculated because one of the risk factors to stroke is hypertension.
Right.
And a lot of hypertensives are put on antihypertensives.
Right.
These antihypertensives, when you're on them over a long period of time, can result in some amount of sexual weakness.
Okay.
So a lot of people attribute this sexual weakness as a result of being on antihypertensives over a period of time to sex. They kind of relate it and then attribute sex to stroke.
Okay.
But if you are hypertensive and you are on antihypertensives, you know, and after a period of time you suffer a stroke, then they attribute to the fact that
it was because they had stroke that do aphrodisiacs, all the bitter nation, the things that the people are mixing and drinking, do they also have an effect?
You know, like we've explained so far, stroke occurs, it starts in the brain.
Okay.
A blood vessel is blocked by a plague, which can be made up of fat, can be made up of any material that can find itself into the bloodstream. So what aphrodisiac are you taking? What is the component of what you're taking in?
Okay.
Can it cause your blood vessels to become weaker and burst in your brain and have blood in your brain? You know, most of these medications that we just buy off the counter or buy in the market from a woman selling in a bowl, and then she mixes up a concoction and gives it to you, and then you take it. Do you actually know the components of what you're taking?
That's the question. That's food for thought.
What can be the effect of what you are taking in? Can it end up in your brain? Can it block a vessel and cause a stroke? Can it cause the vessel to become weak and burst? Having blood in your brain that can cause a stroke. So we should always ask ourselves before we take in anything.
Right. Most grateful. Doc, you have the final word for me, and I'd like you to do two things for me. Let's talk about briefly management and how we're marking the World Stroke Day in Ghana.
Okay. So stroke is a condition that is managed by one person.
Okay.
It's not a one-man show management. It's actually a condition that is managed by different teams. So we have a physiotherapist, we have a stroke nurse, we have doctors, we have speech therapists who have to help with patients who may have lost their speech. We have people who are even involved with their diets because they need to teach them how to feed, how to swallow. So it's a combination of all these patients. So when you come to the hospital, we usually want to find out what kind of stroke you have, give you appropriate medications, and the most important thing is to make sure your blood pressure comes down.
Right.
And that is what we are creating awareness about today. Blood pressure should be normal, should come down. And most people would never know they have a high blood pressure until they have developed a stroke.
Right.
So we advise everyone to regularly check his or her blood pressure.
Okay, thank you very much. Dr. Angela Barnes is a physician specialist, head of the stroke team at the La General Hospital. Doc, thank you for your time.
Thank you very
Emanuela Anum Nyanyufio is the nursing officer. She's also a stroke nurse at the La General Hospital. Thank you very much. And finally, Mavis Ajili Ago is a principal physiotherapist, La General Hospital. Thank you, ladies, and keep up the good work. I wish you all the best. After